Hi, Esther.
Hi,
How are you?
Hi, Zibby.
See, you figured it
I'm
out. It
great.
all
What
worked.
about you?
It all worked perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to your help.
No problem. How are you doing today?
Very well, very well, and excited to be with you.
Oh, good. So I read a little bit about your book for everybody, but tell us more about your memoir, which I guess is basically like asking you to tell us more about your life at this point, even though we've met now 20 seconds
That's
ago.
right.
But start spilling all
That's
of
right.
it.
Okay. Well, you told me that I should show my book. So
Yes,
the book
please show your
is,
book. Thank you.
can you see it? It's Concealed,
Perfect.
memoir of a Jewish Iranian daughter caught between the chador. The chador is the Persian word for burqa. So caught between the chador and America. And it's about growing up. I'm first generation American, growing up with Iranian parents who were tethered to Iran. I have two older brothers who were born there. So I am their only American child and their only daughter. So just hold on to that piece of information. Um, in order to really understand this memoir, it's not just an immigrant story. You have to have a little background. So the story is that my parents were crypto Jews. They were secret underground Jews. They lived in the city of Mashhad, which is the holiest city in all of Iran, um, fanatically Islamic at the time when my parents were living there, intolerant of anyone who was different. So, in order to survive, they had to live underground. And they and their ancestors date back over 2,000 years. So, secrecy right into their DNA. It wasn't one or two generations. Okay, so you've got that. Um, my mother above ground wore the black chador, the burqa, from head to toe. She would look through eye slits. And my father would pray from the Quran in public squares multiple times a day, both of them posing as Muslim. And in the secrecy of their home, they were observant Jews. So you've got the duplicity. And you've got the secrecy, you've got the duplicity, which they brought with them to the United States when they came here after World War II. In addition, you have the fear. Of course, my father was very fearful of the outside world and the paranoia, and he brought that with him. You also need to know that back then, girls were married at an extremely young age. My grandmother was married at the age of 9
Oh, come on.
to my
Seriously?
grandfather, seriously, Zibby, to my grandfather, who was then 29. My mother was forced to marry my father at a young age. My mother was 14 and he was 34. And this was all customary. This was part of the culture in the city of Mashhad. I have to keep highlighting it because those who came from Tehran had a whole different life experience. Mashhad, this is what happened there. Um, and so my father brought with him the expectation that I marry at an extremely young age. So bring that into it. There's a legacy of illiteracy. Women in my family, starting with my mother, going all the way back, were illiterate. They were not allowed to attend school. My mother never stepped foot in a kindergarten or first grade class, nothing. And the prevailing wisdom at the time was that an illiterate girl becomes the perfect wife. So there was a rhyme and reason to it all. Fast forward, they're in America. I'm born here. The law is that I attend public school. And this was very, very upsetting to my father. And his wish was to keep me as illiterate as possible. So you have these themes. You also have the fact that my parents were diametric opposites. My father was rather medieval in personality, very withdrawn, repressed, quick to get angry, and sanctified silence. He banned speech in the home and banned books because books represent speech. They have language, they have words, they have ideas. And he felt they were going to overthrow the rule, I guess the governing in the home, that they would oppose him. And so he banned books, he banned speech. Okay, so we've got that going on. And my mother, even though she was 20 years younger and a child bride, she was wild. She was a rebel. She was outspoken. She was defiant. She was unruly. She terrified me in a different way because she was dangerously impulsive. And I never knew what she would do next. It wasn't thought through well. So I had these two opposing forces, and I couldn't identify with either of them. And as concealed as they were in Iran, I grew up feeling very concealed in New York City. I grew up in Queens, where I was concealing who I am, who I want to be, what my aspirations are, all of which opposed their dreams for me. And another conflict was to hold on to family. I mean, I did love my parents. As crazy as the whole scene was, I really did. I didn't want to lose them, and I didn't want to lose me either. You know, I wanted to hold on to me and find out, who am I? And who do I need to be? And how do I ever get there, given that there were so many obstacles? And it really meant losing them if I truly became me. So how do I navigate this journey? There's a tremendous amount of humor in the book. I don't want you to think it's a dead serious book, because there's the confusion of cultures, the clash of cultures, the misunderstandings that took place that are side-splitting, as well as the poignancy of trying to find oneself. And I grew up very confused. I was a quiet child and a very observant child. I was noticing everything, taking it in, taking it to heart, and wanting to find my way. So that explains the memoir called Concealed, as briefly as I can.
That was perfect. That was like, that was a perfect amount of time. It was almost like you practiced or something. It was perfect. Well, to be honest, hearing about your parents, I have a renewed fascination with how that affects the child, and which obviously is you, and what that's going to do as you get older, which I know you'll track in the book, right? Like, how can any child cope with having parents that as unique as yours, especially that are married to each other. So what an interesting perspective to share. I'm so excited to be delving into that as well. I mean, really, really neat. And how great that you took the time to like draft it into an amazing book. So it's really exciting. All to say thank you for writing.
Hard work, Zibby. It was hard work.
Well,
thank you.
Anyway, well, I know this is so brief.
You know, it took 5 years.
5 years. Wow. Well, at least you did it. I mean, oh my gosh, all the people out there who are still writing. I mean, you're at the finish line here, so congratulations. Well, thank you for coming on today. I'm sorry it's so brief, but it's really nice getting a chance to talk in person these days. All right. Bye.
Well, I appreciate being here. So thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for putting it on your website too. That was really cool. Okay. Bye.